Hi everyone, it's Nicole Steele of The Joyful Stamper. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I am back again this week for another Saturday sketch card. So if you're not familiar with the concept, every Saturday I post a video making a card using that week's challenge sketch from Splitcoaststampers. It's an online stamping community, fabulous resource for tutorials and community, just a really great place to hone your stamping skills, actually. I've been a member there for about 10 years, and every Wednesday they post a sketch, and I design a card for it along with several other women. And anybody's welcome to join in, and you can post your version or your take of that sketch also. So this is the card I'm making for sketch number 813. Now on my blog, thejoyfulstamper.com, you will find the graphic for this sketch and you can save it, you can pin it, you can print it out, and I also write up a tutorial of the steps to make this particular card, and it has the measurements and it has a list of supplies too. As I said, I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so if you want any of the supplies to make the cards that I feature each Saturday, I would love to be your demonstrator, and you can shop my store at shopwithnicole.stampinup.net. So let's get started. So my cousin just recently had twin boys, and my aunt has been so excited to be a grandmother. And this card I made to congratulate her and my uncle on their next season of life, because it's an exciting one, right? This card's so easy to put together. We'll probably be done in under 10 minutes, actually. So let's get started. Got my pieces cut. This is a piece of smoky slate cardstock, and it's 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and I scored it down the middle at 5 1/2. And you can score it with a bone folder and use it to get that really crisp crease, or you can just simply fold the cardstock in half if you want to. Next, I'm going to take a smoky slate ink pad, and I am using the Itty Bitty Greetings stamp set. Now, the reason it comes in 2 cases for me is because I bought it at the time that Stampin' Up! Still had wood-mounted stamps. Now they have it cling mount, so you'll get the red rubber cling, and you can put it on a clear block like this and use the stamp that way. But I've got the wood blocks. So I'm going to take the Sweet Baby Sentiment from Itty Bitty Greetings, and I'm going to just randomly stamp on my smoky slate cardstock here. And you'll notice I'm not necessarily re-inking every time I stamp. I want that mix of dark and light gray. And you can just go completely random with it. I think that's one more down there. Okay. Actually, I'll do another one. Nope, I'm going to stop. Sometimes I don't know when to stop when I'm stamping and end up doing a little too much, right? But that's a nice, simple, sweet background. Now, if you're not sure, you can lay your pieces out and see if maybe too much is covered, which I'm going to do in a second here. So next I'm going to take Misty Moonlight cardstock, and I used the Layering Circles dies to cut this largest scallop shape. And then I used the Stitched Shapes dies to cut the largest stitch circle there. And I'm going to layer these, the stitched shape on top of the scalloped shape, and some liquid glue will work just fine for this. In fact, I actually prefer it because it gives me time to move it around and get it lined up. It has some wiggle room time. Okay. Now this is the part where I'm going to lay it on my card and see if I have any bare spots here. That looks a little empty to me, so I'm going to pull out my smoky slate ink pad again, and I'm going to stamp another greeting up there. Just like that. Okay. I think that's good. All right. That's the beauty of random stamping. You don't really mess it up. Okay, now I'm going to glue this down to my card. No dimensionals here. It's all going to be flat. And I'm going to put it not right in the center of my card, but more like the top center. Okay. Next, I took a piece of soft seafoam cardstock. I love the Misty Moonlight and the soft seafoam colors together. And I ran it through my embossing machine with a Tasteful Textiles 3D embossing folder. Now, one trick, 3D embossing folders are meant to give a much deeper embossed impression here on your cardstock. One thing I learned is to use a Stampin' Spritzer filled with some water and give your cardstock, before you emboss it, just a little spritz or two. Just press the buttons, spray it a little bit to get it damp, then put the cardstock into your embossing folder and run it through your machine. Believe it or not, it actually makes a deeper impression. I think it's because the water dampens and softens the fibers of the cardstock, so they're more easily molded into the shape that you want them to, which would be the embossing folder. So I'm going to put this with multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm not going to put this right in the center of my circle. I'm going to put it up a little bit, right there. Okay. And now I'm going to take a little strip of Whisper White cardstock, which I'm not sure where mine went. There it is. It was blending into my scratch paper here. It's just a real skinny strip of cardstock, maybe a 1/2 inch wide. And I'm going to use the congratulations stamp from Itty Bitty Greetings. And I actually don't have the Misty Moonlight ink pad. So I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight Stampin' Right marker, the brush tip end, to color directly on my red rubber stamp. Okay. And then I'm going to attempt to stamp it straight onto this strip. Now with these little tiny stamps, it's really important to just go straight down with your stamp and not rock it back and forth. Otherwise, you're going to blur those words and they're just not going to be all that readable. Okay, and now I'm going to I'm going to tear it. That's what I did. I'm going to tear it. I'm not using my scissors with this. And we can throw those little scraps away. This is going to get glued to the center of my card like this, overlapping those circles. You can choose to use dimensionals if you want. That would be okay in this instance, but I'm again going to use the liquid glue. And I'm going to put it right there. Now I'll show you a little trick with the pearls. So these pearls come in 3 different sizes and they're come as white. But if you have Stampin' Blend's alcohol markers, you can take either the bullet end or the brush tip end and you can color them and make them whatever shade you want. So I'm going to go ahead and color these, and I want to make them, what do I have here? Light soft sea foam. That one's moving around. Let's go to this one. And at first it doesn't look like it's really coloring it, especially with a light color like this soft sea foam. But I promise you, add enough layers and let it dry for a little bit, and then put it on your card and you will notice the added color, especially against that soft seafoam cardstock. Okay. I'm gonna lift these up and I'm gonna put one right there. And I'm going to put one here. Now you will want to let them dry a little bit. I didn't, so I got a little tiny bit of ink right there, but that's okay. And I'm gonna put another one down here. Okay, last but not least, a little bit of baker's twine. This is Whisper White baker's twine. Stampin' Up! Doesn't carry it anymore, but what they do have is the Flowers for Every Season ribbon combo pack, and there's some twine in there that is a mix of Misty Moonlight and Whisper White. You can actually unravel it, and then you can have both Misty Moonlight twine and Whisper White twine. I'm going to use a glue dot to put that on my card, and I'm going to roll the glue dot because it's a little bit too large and it'll peek out behind my twine here if I don't do that. Okay, then what I'm going to do is trim these tails down because they're too long for this card. So I'm trimming them with paper snips. Then I'm going to take my bone folder. And do you remember how you curl ribbon on packages? I'm going to do it with this twine, with the tails of the twine. So I'm going to hold the knot down in the center just so it doesn't move and untie. And I'm going to run my bone folder along those tails a couple times to get it to curl. Just once. Oh, here comes my little dog Lily. She's never very far from me. Do you see that little bit of curl it gives? Such a nice touch. Okay, that's the card. So that was this week's Saturday sketch card, sketch number 813 from Split Coast Stampers. You can head to my blog, thejoyfulstamper.com, to print out a copy of this sketch and also to get the written tutorial with the step-by-step instructions to make this card. So, all right, guys, I'll see you next Saturday. Bye.